Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Bumblebee. This is as close as I can get for theming, y'all. It's a nerd property with a car. NASCAR, nerd, all together. The latest in the Transformers saga gives us an origin story, gives us a smaller scale film that's not directed by Michael Bay. Add to all of that the trailers, and I thought we had a lot of promise with this movie. But let's be real, how many of us have been burned by Transformers trailers in the past? But I'm happy to report that the trailers are pretty indicative of the film to come. And it's a pretty solid film overall. So let's go ahead and talk about the positives. Well, the biggest positive for me that this film has that has been lacking in every Transformer, maybe aside from the first one, and that's a maybe, is heart. This film has a lot of heart. And it really focuses in on the characters of Charlie, which is our main protagonist, played by Haley Steinfeld, and Bumblebee, and their connection together, as well as her kind of struggle within herself. We're going to get this out of the way quickly. This is not an original storyline by any means. This is the Iron Giant. This is every other quirky, weird teenager that's an outsider, that's, super angsty, who finds a friend in another outsider creature, and thus it's them versus the government versus the world, yada yada yada. We've seen this plenty of times, but it is an effective formula when it's done well, as we've seen as recently as something like Pete's Dragon that was done very well. But that kind of tried and true story that scales everything down and is more singular in focus is exactly what I think the Transformers franchise needed. Because the big battles, the big explosions, we've been there, we've seen it, we've done all that. And those are present in this film as well. But the only purpose of this film is to give Bumblebee that origin story, to let us learn more about one of our favorites from this film franchise. And it's very effective in doing that. And I thought they really developed his character as a character very well. And the connection between he and Charlie was really nice, and it was really sweet, actually. So it worked on a base level. Haley Steinfeld is also very charismatic and charming and capable as our lead in this film, much more so than maybe I had imagined. But this is a main character that is easy to bond to, that we quickly are on board with and want to see succeed, and we feel with her, we feel with Bumblebee. I liked her family dynamic as well. I think that came full circle nicely. Her dynamic with, I think it's Jorge, George Jorge, who was also in Love, Simon from earlier this year. He was so good in this movie. I thought he was a great, friend, sidekick person. Most all of the acting is actually very nice. And most all of our characters are also very nice and a pleasure to get to know. We'll get to the exceptions and the negatives, though, because there are some of those. I also have to commend the visual effects department. So Travis Knight was the director for Bumblebee, and he has worked a lot in Leica Studios in particular. He's all about animation, and he's worked with Leica on Koopa and the Two Strings on their upcoming film. And I think he brought all of his strengths to live action, and it was a really good choice to bring someone from animation up to work on the Transformers films, because everything is stripped down just a bit, and there was a featurette afterward that really showcased his passion for creating creatures and his passion for creating Bumblebee and making sure that Bumblebee as a character was able to resonate through with the audience, and it was very effective in the film itself. The visual effects were all much cleaner than we've seen in most of these recent Transformers films. The actual transforming looked really good, really crisp. You could tell what was going on. The film just looked pretty and beautiful in general. So overall, it's just a simple story, but one that is executed really well. It doesn't step outside of that formula, but I think that is the biggest strength here, because it really let the heart and the characters shine through in this film. I also think that our Decepticons worked pretty well. Justin Theroux's Decepticon was a little bit one note and kind of just bleh. But I really enjoyed Angela Bassett's character in the film, and I loved Angela Bassett's voice work. I think she was really having a good time with it, and it shone through Plus, there were the first triple changers in the series, and that was executed very well as well. Another nice touch of having Travis Knight come over from animation and direct the film. So, what doesn't work so well when it comes to Bumblebee? Because this is not an amazing film by any means, but it is a solid one. Well, John Cena's character does not work in this film at all. John Cena himself felt like he was sleepwalking. He had precisely one good line in this film about the Decepticon name, and literally everything else that came out of his mouth that his character did, it was all just cliched mess. There's this moment near the end that I rolled my eyes so hard I thought they were going to pop out of my head. His character delivers most all of the cheesy, horrible, like Bay-esque lines in this film, which I mean, I guess kind of go figure because he's a military guy. Also, the whole military's like secret mission, double crossing the scientist and the Decepticons, that never really came to fruition at all. It never really saw any sort of development. I thought it was pointless, and it just made the military look really, really stupid. A lot of our side characters on the periphery, they didn't work. And all of the high schoolers, literally every single one was just terrible. Just a flatline, stereotypical, like, mean girl bully and the pretty boy idiot. So they all were just terrible. Her family got better, but they also were a little bit like, ooh, okay. But overall, I think it's a solid film. This is definitely the most family-friendly of the Transformers. It's a nice, palatable length. It's just not this over-bloated mess. And it's arguably the best in the Transformers franchise to date. So if your kids love Bumblebee in particular as a character and as a Transformer, this is definitely a full price ticket. I think they are going to love this film. And as parents, there are some cringe lines, so be prepared, but they're kept to a minimum in comparison to the rest of the franchise. So I think you'll have a good time as well. And if you're looking for a big action film that has a lot of heart, you could definitely do a lot worse than Bumblebee. So I would give this a full price ticket. I think it's a really nice, enjoyable time at the movies. So that is my review of Bumblebee. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Bumblebee? And which is your favorite film in the Transformers franchise? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!